Number 10. OPHIS. OPHIS was a large, frightening, demonic mutant also belonging to the NAFM. He had an insane level of strength and durability. If ULTRAGIRL was the dark opposite of Angel, then OPHIS was the dark opposite to Wolverine, which is saying something about just how dark and demonic he was, as Logan himself is a pretty dark side. As such, in the battle with X-Men, OPHIS ended up torturing a captured Wolverine, but during the destruction of AZAZEL's castle, he ended up getting an arm free, and well, that was kind of the end of OPHIS, cause you know, snicked. You know how it goes. Literally the next panel, just Wolverine. Snicked. He dead. Claws to the head. What a way to go. Number 9. ULTRAGIRL. ULTRAGIRL was part of AZAZEL's army, a member of the NAFM. The NAFM are basically demonic mutants, so expect to maybe see a few more of their numbers on this list, other than OPHIS and ULTRAGIRL. After AZAZEL and the other NAFM were exiled to the Brimstone Dimension following a feud with the Chiarafim, basically the opposite of the NAFM, angelic mutants, they plotted to one day escape their hellish dimension. They even temporarily succeeded and were fought against by the X-Men. Angel was captured in the fight and given to ULTRAGIRL to torture, but was saved when ULTRAGIRL was killed. ULTRAGIRL, like Angel, also had wings and could fly. He was also superhumanly strong and dexterous. Ooh la la. Number 8. KIWI Black. KIWI Black is Nightcrawler's half-brother. He is the son of AZAZEL and likely an indigenous Polynesian woman from New Zealand, as he is part Maori. He was depowered on M-Day, which is why he takes one of the bottom spots, but when he did have powers, they were pretty neat. He could channel bioenergy and use it to increase his strength, or channel it through other beings via touch to disrupt their powers or cause their organs to malfunction. He could also channel this energy through natural surroundings in order to alter it. For example, smashing craters in the ground, or using his powers to cause rock formations to appear shooting up out of the ground. Originally, KIWI Black worked along AZAZEL, helping him to try and free his army from the dimension that they were trapped in and transport them to Earth. However, after surviving a sacrificial ritual, he ended up rebelling and instead allied himself with the X-Men. That's what happens when you find out your dad's trying to use you as a gateway. Dang. Time to join the good guys, I guess. Number 7. Sapna. Sapna became, for a time, Magik's sort of protege. Her mutant powers allowed her to absorb and understand any languages she came into contact with, similar to Cypher. The difference was, at the time when Sapna's powers manifested, she was in limbo. This led her to absorbing all of the magical knowledge in the limbo dimension, which granted her additional demonic abilities. As a result, she became a magic user who could control demons and cast spells. Magik even suspected that Sapna was capable of reanimating the dead. Unfortunately, we never got to find out, as Sapna met her demise when the World Eater used her as a host and Magik was forced to kill her, trapping her spirit for a time inside her soul sword. Number 6. NILS STYGER. STYGER is known by the codename of Abyss. STYGER? STYGER? Which one is it? He is also half-brother of NIGHTCRAWLER, on his father's side, meaning that he is also the son of AZAZEL. His powers allow him to unravel his body, which is made of wrappings. Yeah, if you've ever wondered what a mutant mummy would be like, this is pretty much it. He can use his wrappings to defend himself and attack with them, and when wrapped up, his body is made more durable by his wrappings. Like his half-brother, he also shares a link to the Brimstone Dimension. In the center of his chest, underneath his wrappings, is a dark void that when revealed acts like a black hole, so he can use it to suck in enemies, transporting and trapping them in the Brimstone Dimension for as long as Abyss sees fit. NILS can also absorb fear energy and use it to power himself. Unfortunately, he was depowered during M-Day, then repowered by the Terrigen Mist, but only to be depowered again later. Yeesh! Number 5. SABRETOOTH. While SABRETOOTH might not be more powerful than some of the mutants previously listed, he is still alive and still has his powers, albeit he is in exile right now. During the Weapon X series from 2017, SABRETOOTH found himself tied to the demonic world after he sacrificed himself to save his son Graydon from hell. I know, weird, right? What a weird time to become tied to demons, but let's talk about that. Victor had gone to hell to trade his soul for his son's, and as such he was reverted to a base animalistic state and was set free from the dimension by Marduk, who confessed that he would not enjoy torturing Sabretooth in hell, both while he was not competent enough to understand it, because he was all like animalistic, and while he had just earned such torture through a noble deed, as opposed to a series of bad ones. Marduk was like, why can't you just be terrible? I want you to be terrible again. So Marduk then allowed him to be resurrected, sending him out into the world once more, but now free of the conscience that we'd seen Sabretooth build throughout the last few arcs he'd had in the comics, trying to redeem himself. Kind of had like a heroic Sabretooth almost coming, but nope, he's gone. So now he's back, he's bad, and he's on a road back to hell. Hence him being a bad guy again. Sad. I kinda miss Good Guy Sabretooth. Do you guys miss Good Guy Sabretooth? Probably not. Let me know in the comments. Number 4. NIGHTCRAWLER. NIGHTCRAWLER has all sorts of demonic ties. Firstly, he is the son of AZAZEL, who had a thing with his biological mother Mystique while she was married to Baron Christian Wagner. When Kurt was being born, Mystique lost momentary control of her powers while in labor, revealing to everyone her true nature. Because of baby Kurt's demonic form and Mystique's reveal of her ability to shapeshift, the two were chased down by an angry mob. During their fight, Mystique lost consciousness and lost baby Kurt in the process. NIGHTCRAWLER would go on to be taken in by Romani sorceress Margali Sardos. His teleportation powers link him to the Brimstone dimension, which he uses as a stepping stone to transport himself wherever he so chooses with his teleportation powers. The Brimstone dimension basically acts as a through point for Kurt, leaving a puff of smoke behind every time he uses it that smells of burnt brimstone. Bam! That's his teleportation sound. Bam! Number 3. AZAZEL. AZAZEL is a very powerful mutant. He even claims to have competed for the title of Satan, battling Mephisto and other demonic beings for it. AZAZEL mated with humans in an attempt to create offspring that would help him and his army to escape the hell dimension that they were trapped in, using his children as a gateway to bring them through to Earth. He himself could teleport to Earth for periods of time due to his insanely strong teleportation powers. His affair with Mystique, who was married at the time, brought about baby NIGHTCRAWLER, and Mystique actually may have been the only Earthling that he ever truly cared for / maybe even loved. His powers include immortality, teleportation. In fact, it has been said that he is one of the most powerful teleporters to ever exist, the ability to physically influence one's will, and the ability to metamorph. Number 2. Madeline Pryor. Madeline Pryor is ranking high on this list because there's a good chance that she could be Omega level. Maddie was the clone of Jean Grey, one of the most powerful mutants that we know of currently. While she doesn't do it often, Pryor actually has the ability to warp reality. She is also virtually immortal, as whenever she is killed, although her physical form ceases to exist, she herself simply reverts to a psionic energy form due to her ties with the Phoenix Force. This is why Nate Gray was able to actually bring her back to life. When it comes to her demonic ties, Madeline is a magic user and sorceress who once made pacts with demons. That's actually how she got those powers, becoming the Goblin Queen. She has also used those ties to summon demonic creatures and get them to do her bidding. Number 1. MAGIK. Illyana Rasputin was kidnapped when she was just a little girl by Belasco and taken to Limbo. While there, she was given tons of power by Belasco, but Belasco was also controlling of her and pretty much a big creep the entire time. He put part of her soul into a bloodstone to solidify his control over her. Despite this, eventually MAGIK would train and rise up against him using some of her life force to craft her now famous soul sword and overthrow Belasco, later becoming the new ruler of Limbo. She even made the demon Sim her loyal servant for a while, though being a slippery demon, he would eventually betray her. Unsurprisingly, that's such a Sim thing to do, you know what I mean?
And at 10, Angry Eagle. On Earth 982 there was a decrease in anti-mutant sentiment, so Jubilee found 4 heroes to form the X-People, originally forming in J2 number 1. The X-People were a team set out on investigating rumors that the Juggernaut had returned, when it was in fact his son who had given himself the name J2. Angry Eagle, who is now simply called Eagle, is a mutant with the ability to fly thanks to large bird-like wings on his back. I mean, where else would they be? Under his arms? I mean, okay, I guess. And he throws stun daggers at his opponents. He has appeared in 17 comics known at this time, with series involving J2, Spider-Girl, Last Planet Standing, The Amazing Spider-Girl, and Spider Island. And while not much is known about the character, he looks pretty angelic to me. I mean, while Feathered Wings is a dead giveaway, we don't really know enough about him to get a definitive answer. In at 9, Rapture, Sister Joy. Sister Joy is a blue-skinned nun with large dove wings. She can fly and is a skilled sword combatant. She was created from the power template of Archangel, the appearance of Mystique, and the personality of Nightcrawler. She first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 360 as a member of Cerebro's X-Men, and while she may have done evil deeds while serving Cerebro, she believed she was doing the right thing. Which, while many villains do think, they also know that what they are doing is wrong and illegal. But Rapture was created with the express purpose of capturing all mutants, but to her, she was a nun who cared for injured birds until the founder recruited her to join the X-Men. So she believes she is a part of the real X-Men, and that's what's important in this case. Unfortunately, Rapture, along with the rest of Cerebro's X-Men, were absorbed into Cerebro and destroyed in order to grant Cerebro enough strength to defeat the real X-Men. So, kinda short-lived, but oh well. Still an angel in all the best ways now. Is that too far? And at 8, Pixie. Megan's powers manifested in a near-miss accident involving her on a bicycle and another car. She realized she could manifest butterfly-like wings, which allow her to fly with incredible maneuverability. While she may not have big white feathery wings like others on this list, she still fights the good fight, being a part of the X-Men, Paragon Squad, and New X-Men. Plus, when her and her fellow students got stuck in limbo, the only way she could get any darkness inside of her was to literally give up a portion of her soul that was used to form her soul dagger. While she does have some darkness now, she was straight up fighting off demons in limbo with her pixie dust, making them hallucinate. The same stuff that she got Wolverine to hallucinate unicorns with. Fighting demons, having wings, and being pure until you've made a bad decision because you wanted to help someone definitely makes you angelic. More angelic than me, that's for sure. I'm only missing one of those things. I don't have wings. I wish I had wings. I wouldn't want like big wings though. I'm thinking like black pixie wings that are like sharp enough to cut throats. Right, sorry, angelic video. My bad. And at 7, Angel Salvador. When she was driven out of her home by an abusive stepfather, Angel Salvador slept in the woods, where her mutant abilities manifested in the form of a cocoon. When she emerged, she had grown fly wings. She was found by the U-Men, a group of humans who harvest mutant body parts to attach to themselves, but she was rescued by Wolverine and taken to the Xavier Institute. Her powers include physical changes like her reproductive system changing towards more of like a fly system, where she has a whole gestation period in like 5 days, which comes into play when she has children with fellow student Beak and causes them to become suspects of the murder of Emma Frost. She also has insectoid wings which allow her to fly and keep her balance in the air even when being blasted by sonic bursts. Using these wings, she can also produce an ultrasonic sound which can shatter glass and even deafen humans when heard. She has corrosive spit which can burn through almost any material, and a regenerative cocoon that has been able to heal her when wings have been ripped, damaged, or even torn off, and could possibly even save her from death or extend her life by slowing the aging process like that of Wolverine's healing factor. Pretty dope. And at 6, Sprite. Sprite, not a sponsor, was on a bus ride in Beijing when Cyclops became the Dark Phoenix and began destroying Earth. As the bus drove off a bridge, Spider-Man prevented it from falling and swooped in to rescue the passengers. At the same time that the Phoenix was dispersed by Hope Summers and Scarlet Witch, Sprite's powers manifested while with Spider-Man. She quickly enrolled in the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning, where she wanted to become the greatest X-Men who has ever lived, to bring honor and pride to her family and country. She seems a little stereotypical, but oh well. She has gained the ability to fly via blue fairy wings on her back, and the ability to morph her skin, which has changed to a rock-like texture in blue. She is able to morph it as she sees fit, so far only being able to make her fists bigger, which gives her super strength when she does. You know what they say, big hands, big strength. She also possesses an enhanced endurance, making her able to restrain herself from sleeping, being able to operate with only 3 hours of sleep at night, and studying the rest of the day. Screw studying, let me play Minecraft for those extra 11 hours of the day, taking into account working in transport. Still sounds pretty dope to me. She's also multilingual, speaking both English and Chinese. Kinda like me. I'm bilingual. I speak English and French. Or at least that's what my certificate says. I should be able to, but I kind of can't. Je suis pomme de terre. And at 5, Penny Newsom. Penny Newsom is from a rich family, and is also a huge fan of the X-Men, but I mean who isn't? When she heard of Sublime Corp's project for giving mutant powers to normal humans, she joined the project as a test subject. Originally there were 2,000 subjects, but eventually it only made it down to 5. Loeb, the Sublime Corporation's CEO, gave each of them an inhaler that contained a drug that would give them powers similar to those of the original X-Men. Penny took the one for Angel, and as she ingested it, wings quickly grew on her back. These 5 teams were named the New X-Men by Loeb, and Penny was the new Angel. However, this was all just a test to see if the drug was ready to go to market, since Loeb was planning on selling it to the highest bidder, but he still kept up appearances since their first mission was to stop an armored truck that had been hijacked by some thugs. Later, the New X-Men encountered a fight between the real X-Men and the Collective Man. They tried to fight but were knocked unconscious and taken to Utopia for interrogation. While there, Penny revealed everything she could, while also constantly asking for autographs. Like, you're being interrogated, but can I have your autograph? Like what? Come on, girl. When Cyclops sent the info to Angel, Penny started asking about him, but again, you're being interrogated, stop. Eventually, the New X-Men were taken out of Utopia where they were cured of their powers, but Penny managed to get 2 more inhalers, one for Emma Frost and one for Jean Grey, so you're in for one hell of a ride. And at 4, Cherubim. This number is more of a group of mutants rather than an individual one. The Cherubim, according to AZAZEL, are a group of angel-like mutants who were the traditional enemies of a demonic group of demons, who were led by AZAZEL. These groups lived and fought in the biblical times, and the Cherubim have a strict view of morality. Everything was basically black and white, and that's what started the conflict. This ended up escalating into a holy war where the Cherubim won, causing their enemies to either flee or be exiled into an alternate dimension. Their powers involve the ability to fly due to their wings, and their blood burns their adversaries. This will come into play later in the list, so remember that. There aren't any confirmed modern descendants of the Cherubim, but there are some potential candidates for their possible heirs. And at 3, Angel. Warren Kenneth Worthington III originally possessed a pair of large feathered wings which allowed him to fly, and is the heir to their family fortune, which causes people to believe he is self-absorbed and unable to deal with his hardships despite being a mutant. When his dorm catches on fire, he uses his wings to save his classmates, after he got some props from the school's drama department. Like, dude, really? Come on, you made yourself look like an angel? Come on, that's a little much. Even for me. After this, he learns he is a mutant and dons a mask and costume, calling himself the Avenging Angel. He starts off solo, but is then recruited by Professor X, who convinces him to join the X-Men. Angel is actually a potential candidate for being a descendant of the Cherubims, since he has feathered wings on his back and blood-based healing factors. That was actually found to burn NIGHTCRAWLER, who is the father of AZAZEL and the leader of the original enemies. Do you think that Angel is a descendant of the Cherubim? Let me know below, cause I do. And at 2, ICARUS. Before Jay developed powers, he helped his brother Sam rescue Leela Cheney, Dazzler, and their band member from a plane crash. Leela had been knocked out, so she couldn't use her teleportation abilities, and Dazzler had run out of sound needed for her powers to work. So Jay played music in order to get Dazzler her mojo back. When he developed powers, he hid them from his family, since 2 of his siblings already went to become X-Men, but would show his wings when performing with his band as a form of stage gimmick. Of course, he had fallen in love with Julia Cabot, but due to a Romeo and Juliet-like scenario, a fight broke out, and Julia's father knocked Jay down using super-powered armor. In grief and believing him to be dead, Julia took his body into a river and brought it with her as she lay at the bottom, wanting to be with him in her final moments. But neither her nor her father knew about his regenerative capabilities. After Julia's death, Jay, tried to die a few more times, but his healing factor would never fail, and his mother sent him to the Xavier Institute for help, because honestly he needed it. ICARUS is also thought to be a potential modern Cherubim, based on the same reasons as before. But if only one of them could be, which of the 2, Angel or ICARUS, would you prefer to be a modern form of the angelic mutants who probably inspired this list? Let me know in the comments, cause I'm leaning more towards Angel, cause Angel, but ICARUS was also an angel. Finally, in at number 1, Archangel. When Angel gets his crippled wings amputated, the jet he is in is about to explode. Seconds before it does, however, Apocalypse whisks him away and offers to restore his wings if Angel serves as one of his 4 horsemen. Angel is then subjected to extensive alterations, getting blue skin and organic metal wings that can cut through almost any metal. These wings can also fire metal feathers as projectiles. He is given the title of Death and they head on their way. Eventually, when freed from Apocalypse's drug, he refuses to rejoin the X Factor, feeling like he has changed too much to be a hero. He then seeks out Candy Southern to find out that she is missing. He later finds out that she has been lobotomized in order to protect the secrets of Cameron Hodge. In the confrontation between the 2, Cameron kills Candy in front of Angel, and then Angel decapitates Cameron, changing his name from Death to Dark Angel. Then during the events of Inferno, while with the X Factor, he takes on the name Archangel, and is clearly more powerful than Angel because, like, geez, metal wings. And also, wasn't Dark Angel something from Wizards of Waverly Place? I'm pretty sure that was a thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it happened.
Number 10, Brew. Brew is a unique mutant because of his alien heritage. He is part brood, part mutant. Brew was born with a mutation that allows him to feel compassion. So you might think that being born with compassion should not be considered a mutation or a superpower, but for the Brood race, it is. They do not normally feel such things, making them a devastatingly dangerous race when it comes to warfare. Being born with such abnormalities often results in the death of the mutated newborn, but because the population of the Brood was so low at the time, the Brood Queen actually allowed Brew to live, though he was abandoned, sadly. While his mutant ability might not seem strong in the conventional way, it makes him remarkably unique. Add in his genius intellect and you have both a fascinating and powerful mutant. Number 9, ALIYAH Bishop. ALIYAH is the daughter of Mutant Bishop from the alternate reality of Earth 41001. In that reality, Bishop and the Shi'ar Deathbird fell in love and had a child together, and this child was ALIYAH. We first meet ALIYAH in the comics traveling around space on the Starjammer spaceship. While she is mutant, we have yet to see her mutant abilities appear in the comics. However, based on what we know of generational mutant families, it can be assumed that her powers would be in the same wheelhouse as her father's and probably be similar to his, involving some kind of energy absorption or manipulation. Regardless, even without her mutant powers, she is fairly deadly, exhibiting skills in both armed and unarmed combat. ALIYAH is a skilled fighter, something she likely inherited from both of her parents. Number 8. Zakan. Zakan is part of Cadre K, a group of Skrull mutants similar to the X-Men. Skrull mutants who fight for mutant rights and equality with the same dream as Charles Xavier. In fact, they've even fought with Charles Xavier before. Zakan is therefore not just a shapeshifter, but also possesses the mutant power of telepathy and telekinesis. She can use her mutant powers to control minds, erase memories, create illusions, and in dire situations, move objects. When she touched Rogue, it was shown that her telepathic powers were so great that she inadvertently boosted Rogue's ability to absorb memories, amplifying and mutating it. Number 7. ULTRAGIRL. ULTRAGIRL is Susanna of the Kree, or Susanna Sherman on Earth. They're spelled differently, but they sound the same. Much of her past remains a mystery. She is adopted and was raised on Earth, though the Kree kept an eye on her, as she was prophesied to bring great glory to the Kree Empire by defeating some of their greatest enemies. At least some of the greatest enemies of the pink-skinned Kree. In her own self-titled miniseries, ULTRAGIRL discovered that she was a mutant when a Sentinel attacked her, although at the time her powers had not yet manifested. Of her superpowers, we know that she possesses super strength, super speed, enhanced durability and agility. She also possesses a fairly strong healing factor, and like most part Kree superheroes, she can fly. Although oddly enough, flight is not a part of the inherent Kree physiology. So why so many half Kree can fly? I don't know. Number 6. Abigail Brand. We don't know where her father was from or who her mother is, but what we do know is that Abigail Brand is half alien, half human, and a mutant to boot, which she gets from her mother's side. She is known for being the tough, no-nonsense head of SWORD, an area of S.H.I.E.L.D. that is known for focusing on guarding the Earth against extraterrestrial threats. Her mutant power grants her the ability of pyrokinesis. She can heat up her hands and make contact with beings or materials, burning them or even burning through them. She can also control the level of heat that she emits. Her alien heritage also gives her a tongue that allows her to be able to speak alien languages that humans cannot. Number 5. Adam X. Adam X originally worked for Martin Strong, who gave him his name, as a hound rounding up mutants. A bloodhound. He is from Shi'ar, but lost his memories about his past at some point during his time on Earth. In working for Strong, he found himself in conflict with the X-Force, who eventually convinced him to join them in taking Strong down and using his powers to defend mutants as opposed to track and catch them. Adam X's mutant powers allow him to electrically charge blood, causing his enemies to fry from the inside out. Ugh. He also has enhanced physiology due to him being a member of the Shi'ar race. Number 4. LIFEGUARD. Heather Cameron is half Shi'ar, half human, and all mutant. She first appeared in Extreme X-Men Volume 1, which is also the series wherein she learned of her Shi'ar heritage. Heather is originally from Australia, where she worked as a lifeguard. Her mutant powers grant her a sort of spidey sense and the powers needed to do something about that danger sense. When her life or another's is in danger, she senses it and is granted the powers needed to save that life. These powers also come with the knowledge of how to use them, so although she might not have experience with that power set, this will not hinder LIFEGUARD. Her codename is obviously both a nod to her profession and her power set. Her brother Davis, aka Slipstream, is also a mutant, but he was depowered following M-Day, whereas Heather was not. Still, we don't really know what she's up to now. Where did she go? Will she appear in Dawn of X? Number 3. Dupe. One of the most ridiculous and mysterious mutants, Dupe's origins are shrouded in mystery. It has been suggested that he was artificially created in a lab, or that he has either magical or cosmic origins, hailing from an alien planet or perhaps another dimension entirely. For our purpose, we are going to run with the mysterious alien heritage angle, which is plausible considering he is only able to speak in his own alien tongue. Despite not knowing what potential alien race he could belong to, we do know a lot about his power set. Dupe has the powers of resurrection, flight, has a genius intellect, can can alter his size and is capable of emitting psionic blasts. He has also shown that he is capable of using magic and breaking the fourth wall. In fact, his seeming awareness that he exists in comics allows him to also be a powerful teleporter. He can travel through space and time by moving between the margins within comics. I know, it's cool. It's a cool ability. Number 2. Sponge. Sponge is another member of the KIWI, the Skrull mutant version of the X-Men. His powers allow him to absorb energy. He can then rechannel said energy through his body, using it to make him durable or blasting it back at his targets with concussive force. Beyond that, his powers also seem to let him absorb skills and talents as well when connected to other Skrull mutants via the member of the KIWI Neuro, who can tap into and link the nervous systems of his teammates through touch. So we really are talking about all kinds of crazy types of energy absorption when we're talking about Sponge. Like, it's cool if you're not a pilot and you can be like, now I know how to pilot a ship. I don't know why I did a weird voice for that. That's probably not what Sponge sounds like. But maybe it is, who knows. Number 1. Gaia. First appearing in Generation X Volume 1 Issue 37, she was found in an alternate reality in the Citadel of the Universal Amalgamator at the end of time, which was created with the intent of smooshing together all sentient beings' consciousness. Gaia was both its guardian and its prisoner, the key to activating the Amalgamator and the protector of it, defending it against it being used by evil beings. Gaia was saved by Sync and Penance and traveled through a secret warp chamber hidden in the Citadel, which coincidentally led back to their own reality. We do not know of her origins, if she was fully human or from another planet, but her galaxy was apparently destroyed as the result of her refusing to activate the Amalgamator. So sounds like she's probably alien. Gaia's powers allow her to warp reality using extra-dimensional matter and energy, making her immortal, super durable, super strong, and giving her telepathic and telekinetic abilities. She spent some time as a student at Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, but eventually left to explore and experience Earth. Number 10. Ginia. Ginia sewed her eyes shut originally to focus on her telepathy. Her powers involve telepathic and shapeshifting abilities. She's also able to absorb physical blows without really even feeling them. Her body overall is quite durable. Like some of the mutants we talked about on the part 1 of this list, she is also a NAFM, a very ancient demonic type of mutant. Ginia was also one of the members of Azazel's army, looking to escape the Brimstone dimension where they were trapped. She met her end against the X-Men in their fight to escape when Iceman dehydrated her, killing her. And man, that is a way to go. Did not look pleasant. Number 9. Jillian. Jillian was one of the members of Azazel's team of NAFM, those demonic mutants who were trying to escape the hellish Brimstone dimension. Yeah, the ones I was just talking about. Her powers include flight and agility, making her a decent match for the X-Men's Angel. When Azazel's army was defeated by the X-Men and thereby remained trapped in the Brimstone dimension, at least Jillian managed to survive the battle. Many of Azazel's other companions died during that fight. During the feud, Jillian also let it slip that she had a thing for NIGHTCRAWLER, but unfortunately for her, Kurt did not seem too interested. Probably because of, the whole evil thing, to be honest. Number 8. Nature Girl. Nature Girl's powers include the ability to connect with nature, meaning that she is often able to influence animals and creatures of the wilderness and convince them to do her bidding. In fact, her influence even extends beyond critters, allowing her to control weather and the elements as well. Included in the beings that she seems to have influence over are Bamfs, which seem to be very attracted to Lin Lee. It's Lin's connections to the Bamfs that has me pondering as to what other demonic creatures she might be able to influence. Is it possible that her nature powers extend to other realms, including the realms of demons? We have yet to see enough of her to be able to tell for sure, but it seems to me there is enough there to assume she might have some kind of demonic link when it comes to her abilities. Number 7. Archangel. Archangel is basically the demonic side of Angel, one of the founding members of the X-Men. Angel was originally transformed into his alter ego by Apocalypse when he was made his Horseman of Death, after Apocalypse manipulated his mind and altered his body on his celestial ship. This side of Angel resided within him even after he was freed from being Apocalypse's horseman and gave him a taste for death and destruction. In fact, he craved death and destruction a lot of the time. In this form, Angel has deadly techno-organic wings which not only allow him to fly, but also act as a shield, can fire poison-tipped organic feathers, and happen to be razor sharp and can be used themselves as blade-like weapons. Imagine having a sword fight with somebody's wings, oh my goodness. He also has a hypersonic scream which can be used to cause internal organ damage to his enemies, and he has a proper healing factor in this form. He doesn't just have to bleed on people. Beyond him being the dark side of his original form as Angel, Archangel also at one point became Apocalypse. He was like a dark god hell-bent on world domination through replacing all life on Earth with life that he himself had created. You know, typical scary apocalypse things. Number 6. Young Beast. While Beast of Earth 616 sticks to science, young Hank McCoy from an alternate universe, temporarily and unofficially referred to as Earth 240, eventually turned to Magik's. In Volume 2 of All New X-Men, he is driven even further towards using the mystic arts, as he and the X-Men are forced to go up against the Goblin Queen and a demonic horde. In desperation, he accidentally performs a ritual that transforms him into a demonic beast, complete with giant horns. Well, not necessarily accidentally. He meant to do the ritual, but I don't think he really knew what he was doing, unfortunately. However, this ritual also levels up his powers enough to allow him to defeat Madeline Pryor. Yay! But of course, they come at a cost, because that's how magic works. Sometimes, depending on what lore you're reading. But sometimes it comes at a cost. Number 5. Wolverine, or as we knew him at the time, Helverine. When Wolverine's soul was trapped in hell by Mystique and the Red Right Hand, a demon took possession of his body, which was still on Earth. This demon-possessed version of Wolverine wreaked havoc on Earth while Wolverine was gone, killing anyone who got in his way and targeting many of Wolverine's family and friends when it came to who he decided to attack. Wolverine would eventually regain control over his body after battling his way out of hell and dealing with the demons that resided within his own mind. Number 4. Cruel. Cruel is a mutant external who has been tied to the gods Ishtar and Mithra. Ishtar was in fact a god who is also known as Ayana in the comics. In fact, she is a god with many names. She herself has been tied to the story of hell, the Eldritch gods, and on the less dark side, love and fertility even. Under the name that Cruel evoked of Ishtar, she was known as a god who demanded orgies and blood sacrifices in her name. All that fun demonic stuff, you know. Cruel has a demonic look about him with large muscles, orange hair, and purple skin, and he often acts like one as well, known for his violence and cruelty. His love of violence and cruelty. During World War II, he was a Nazi who worked in a concentration camp where he operated a gas chamber. All too happily, really. Like other externals, he is immortal and can resurrect himself. Cruel also possesses super strength and brandishes razor-sharp claws and teeth. Number 3. Garbacienne. Garbacienne is also a mutant belonging to the group known as externals. External mutants are beings that are basically considered immortal, forever walkers, as N. Sabanur once referred to them as. Garbacienne also belonged to a group within the externals known as the High Lords, the self-proclaimed leaders of the externals. Not to be confused with the Eternals, by the way. Externals and Eternals, two different things. Garbacienne is known as being capable of resurrecting himself and has a strong healing factor. However, immortality does not mean that he can't be destroyed. Although externals are powerful and hard to defeat, Garbacienne could be defeated through having his life force energy drained or his heart consumed by another external. His powers have generally been known to be based in the realm of magic. In fact, his magical shapeshifting abilities combined with his resurrection powers is why I thought of him as demonic. Namely because he is known for shapeshifting into a fearsome and demonic dragon who can breathe fire. You can see this referred to in Gambit Volume 3 Issue 1, where Gambit set out to raid the tomb of Garbacienne's 12th son. Number 2. Storm. But when was Storm demonic, you ask? Well, this isn't quite the Storm you've always known. This is a version of Storm from Limbo, where magic was raised. She not only has the same powers as her Earth 616 counterpart, but she also possesses vast magical knowledge and abilities. She even trained young Illyana in magics for a while during her time in Limbo. But in the end, magic had to kill her to prevent this version of Storm from Earth 8280 from being used by Belasco as a sacrifice in a ritual intended to free himself from Limbo. Which obviously would be bad news, because Belasco's a pretty bad dude. Number 1. Selene. One of the oldest mutants around, Selene is known for being 17,000 years old. Her powers both allow her and require her to drain life force energy. If she doesn't, she'll die. She can use this psychic energy to increase her own strength, speed, and durability, as well as maintain her immortality and her eternal youth. Feeding off life energy, though, often leads to her killing her victims, turning them into dust. Although she can choose to drain only some life energy from her victims, which allows them to live but also grants Selene full control over them, if she so chooses. She also has a slew of other powers, including telekinesis, telepathy, and pyrokinesis, and was once a member of the inner circle of the Hellfire Club. She is currently residing on Krakoa with many of the other mutants. There, she is in charge of helping to monitor the amount of psychic energy that herself and Krakoa drain from the population. She is actually allowed to feed off the population as part of the rules of Krakoa, wherein the Quiet Council agreed to provide whatever sustenance necessary to the mutants who joined that nation. And oh yeah, the sentient land of Krakoa feeds off of the psychic energy of its populace, in case you didn't know that. Selene was also originally known in Uncanny X-Men Volume 1 as the Demon Huntress. I like that alias for her. Number 10. Rogue. When it comes to arm wrestling, most heroes would have nothing on Rogue. Her abilities allow her to steal the powers and so much more of whomever she makes contact with. When she kissed Deadpool, she actually even adopted his severely deformed skin, leaving Wade to look all shiny and pretty again. But while Rogue's abilities themselves are shiny indeed and allow her to drain the energy, memories, and superpowers of her opponents, she would also likely end up killing them if she held on for too long, or at least put them in a coma like she did with her first kiss, Cody Robbins. Because of this and our hypothetical mutant arm wrestling championship, she would likely be disqualified for killing her opponent. At least old Rogue would. Obviously Rogue has more control over her powers now. But although taking someone's strength does make you strong, it also still kind of feels like cheating. Like, I love Rogue, I love her, but it feels a little like cheating in a strength competition, you know what I mean? Number 9. Monet St. Croix. M is definitely a mutant who is stronger than she might look. Her super strength has allowed her to even take on She-Hulk in a fight. In Volume 2 of She-Hulk from 2005, these two end up turning to blows after both not initially wanting to fight one another. They both consider the other to be a difficult and powerful foe, and Monet proves just how much of a strong-arm nuisance she can really be, managing to even meet She-Hulk in strength. So when it comes to her power in regards to a fist fight, you best believe she would handily be able to take down many other super strong mutants. After all, She-Hulk is known as one of the strongest characters in Marvel, and even if Monet didn't beat her, holding her off is an impressive feat. Just meeting her is like, whoa, you strong. Number 8. Gentle. Gentle is a newer mutant. He was first introduced in New X-Men Volume 2 and is considered to be a special mutant due to his Wakandan heritage. If you haven't noticed in the comics, mutants that come from Wakanda, that's not really a thing. Nesno Abidemi is half Russian and half Wakandan, and actually inherited his X gene from his father. His mutant powers allow him to gain muscle mass. In fact, the upper limit of his strength he can amass and exhibit has yet to be defined. His super strength could in fact be limitless. When using his powers, he also becomes super tough and durable as a result. Originally, he had less control of his powers and experienced a great pain when using them as a result of the vast increase to his muscle mass, and psychological scars which also lended to this as well. Eventually, Jean would help him to overcome this weakness, and the vibranium tattoos that he covers himself with help him to harness and control his powers more easily as well. It has been said that he is on the same level of strength as Colossus, and that he could even likely take the Hulk on in a fight. Number 7. Namor. You might not think of this Atlantean mutant when it comes to those of mutant kind who are known for their strength, but Namor would likely be able to take on and defeat many other mutants and heroes in an arm wrestle, especially if the championship took place underwater. Namor is at his most powerful when underwater, but even when he is on land and weakened somewhat by his distance from the sea, he is still impressively strong. He has been able to knock out both She-Hulk and Hulk on occasion, and he once defeated Red Hulk in an underwater battle. Namor can take on basically all of the Hulks, though probably not at the same time. They'd be like Hulk smash, and then Namor would be dead. Number 6. Sebastian Shaw. No matter what you throw at this former leader of the Hellfire Club, he can store it up and throw it right back at you. Sebastian Shaw is a mutant who can absorb whatever energy is tossed his way, using it to strengthen and fortify himself. This makes him hard to beat in a fist fight, as throughout, he often just continues to get stronger and stronger as his opponent eventually will tire. With most mutants who have energy absorption powers, there is a limit as to how much they can take, and we eventually find out what this is when they become overloaded with energy. But with Sebastian Shaw, we have yet to discover what his limit is, and he's a character who's been around since the 80s, so he's been around for a while. This lack of knowledge could actually imply that his powers are limitless, though we don't really know yet, but he could be Omega level, just saying. Number 5. Colossus. What super strong mutant list would be complete without one of the greatest? Pyotr Rasputin, Colossus, is often known for his super strength due to his tough steel form. And despite steel not being as strong as some of the other famous metals of the Marvelverse, Colossus has still managed to prove just how tough he is on more than one occasion. He shielded his fellow X-Men from a blast of deadly energy from Terminus, a powerful foe of the Celestials. He's managed to crack Juggernaut's helmet while he was Kurth, Breaker of Stone, and even managed to survive a fight against World War Hulk. Yeah, I know he got his arms broken, but still, just taking on this version of Hulk is impressive. Number 4. Omega Red. So based on what we just talked about in regards to Colossus, I know what you're thinking. How can Omega Red be considered stronger than him? It doesn't make sense, Amanda. Well, Colossus fought World War Hulk, yes, but when it comes to steel, no matter how reliable it is, there are still stronger materials, like Omega Red's carbonadium infused body and tentacles. And as such, when Colossus and villain Omega Red came to blows in issue 499 of Uncanny X-Men, it ended up being Arkady, not Pyotr, who proved he was made of stronger stuff, especially after the Red Room had increased Omega Red's strength and durability. He handily drained some of Colossus's life energy with his tentacles, and even managed to penetrate Colossus's impenetrable skin. Blech. If it weren't for Nightcrawler's interference, it is very likely that Omega Red would have defeated both Colossus and Wolverine, whom he was fighting at the time. I know what you're thinking, but doesn't Wolverine have adamantium? Isn't adamantium stronger than carbonadium? You're right, but you know what? Maybe we'll see Wolverine on a part 2, okay? Just deal with it. He's strong though. He's strong. But Sabretooth is stronger than him, so... And where does Sabretooth fall in all of this? We really need a part 2 to this list, to be honest. Number 3. Hope Summers. Hope is a similar power set to Rogue. She's the adopted daughter of Cable. I know, it's a little confusing. She looks like a natural born relative of Jean Grey's, but she isn't. She just happens to bear a resemblance and shares that striking red hair. Hope is probably one of the most powerful mutants around because she can copy anyone's powers in her vicinity without even needing to drain them of their power or energy, or touch them at all. And she can have as many powers as she likes, and the powers she mimics are considered to be at their full strength, their highest limit, the most potent they could possibly be. So now, imagine if she went toe to toe with any other super strong mutant or super. I mean, granted, if Hope goes toe to toe with almost anyone, she's got it in the bag. But super strength also falls within her wheelhouse when applicable. Her only real weakness is time and distance, as eventually the powers will wear off the further away she gets from her opponent, which means running away would be the best option for any super strong foe who comes up against her, which is probably why we don't see her as much in the comics. She's too powerful. Number 2. Apocalypse. When it comes to a flexing competition, Apocalypse is another mutant who could easily win the day. He is more durable than most with a slew of other abilities, but his super strength is not just an add-on when it comes to those abilities, and he's evolving all the time, so it's likely we'll only see him become even stronger as time goes on. And SABRETOOTH is so strong that he has managed to hold back the Hulk, an impressive feat. Sure, this was when Hulk was separated from Banner and couldn't really rely on rage to increase his strength, but the Hulk also had a higher base level power in this state, because he was kind of like always angry. So either way you slice it, Apocalypse still looks like a muscly badass. A slice of muscly badass. Ew. That's gross. Number 1. Onslaught. Kind of a weird one to include on this list, as Onslaught is sort of just Dark Xavier with some Magneto mixed in. And Xavier's not a mutant normally thought of for his strength. Though to be fair, people often seem to forget that Xavier is a skilled and trained fighter and martial artist, just because they still think of him as a telepath confined to a wheelchair, even though he hasn't really been that version of himself since the early 2000s. So why do people still think of that? I don't know. When Onslaught emerged, he was a force to be reckoned with on all fronts. Not only insanely psychically strong, but also physically strong as well. This is a foe who managed to punch Juggernaut so hard he flew across Canada and landed in the USA. He also managed to rip out the Sidorak gem from Juggernaut's body as well. And he managed to hold off the Hulk. So yeah, I think he might qualify for the gold medal in this arm wrestling competition, even without his psychic abilities. Although to be honest, anyone who possesses powerful telekinetic skills in my mind could also be considered super strong. They could technically just flex with their brain to make their arms look like they're strong. You might think that's cheating, but I don't know. I think telekinetics, they're powerful. They can flex too, with the brains.